Welcome to QCC's Face the Region. Face the Region is produced by Quinsigamond Community College to assist our region in attaining educational, economic, and personal prosperity. Now, here's your host, WCRN's Hank Stoltz.
Good morning, I'm Hank Stoltz, and this is QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Today, we're going to be joined by Jacob Longacre, Assistant Professor of Electronics Engineering Technology. Also, James Heffernan is with us, Professor, Coordinator of Electronics Engineering Technology, and Damian Kieran, Assistant Professor of Manufacturing Technology. And Professor Heffernan, I'll start with you, and James, if you could, we're here to talk about Quest. The Quest opening is here. We've heard about it in the past on QCC's Face the Region. What is Quest and what does it stand for?
Well, Quest has been a concept for probably about 10 years. We were doing a possible renovation of part of the the administration building. It never went through, so we took the label and it's now been used for the new Science and Technology building. It's an acronym that stands for Quinsigamond Energy, Science, and Technology, which really defines the use we're going to make of that building. The engineering program here at Quinsig is a great program to get the first 2 years of an engineering program done. If you're going to WPI, MIT, they have a tremendous success. The technology programs are more hands-on, application-oriented, and those are represented by the manufacturing technology and engineering, electronics engineering technology, also energy utility technology. And supporting both of those disciplines is the science in between, the physics, the chemistry, the biology that technicians and engineers need to know. And all that's going to be housed in the same building.
So this is obviously a great thing then for the students. Who's had an opportunity to be able to walk through the building? You did have that opportunity.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about what it looks like.
Okay. Well, one of the best things about it is the amount of space that we've got. We are currently crammed in with manufacturing to a room that's in the lower level of the athletic center. We have another lab in the other building, so we're kind of spread out and a little disjointed. So we're all in one location. We're going to be the Electronics Engineering Technology program now has its own space. The manufacturing program has its own space. We have a fab lab. We're there together, but we have the kind of room we need to expand and to work with the programs we've got. It's a high-quality, state-of-the-art building, still under construction, but it's obviously going to be a very exciting place to be.
Jacob, why don't I just start
Sure.
with you? Folks can't see at home. We'll just go right down the table here. Tell us a little bit from your point of view and from what your students are going to be able to see, what the opening of the Quest building means for you.
Well, for me, the biggest aspect of it is it's a much more integrated environment. It enables us to work much closer with both our own organizations in terms of electronics and manufacturing and integrating in with that fab lab and being able to use all those things, but also it links us that much closer with the sciences so that it's one facility that's right there and allows us a place, basically a show place to express, here's all the different things that we can do and how we can link them together.
I would think that a lot of students who, if you're interested in engineering, you'd be interested in the sciences, the technology, that they all go together. Now, is it a little more separated? Is that the way it generally is on a college campus, and this will bring those together?
I think we've been dealing with fitting things in as we can and where the facilities could fit. And now we'll be able to bring them together and so that you can actually show how electronics and manufacturing and all these things can work together and the equipment that's available to do it.
All right, let's go to Damian Kieran, Assistant Professor of Manufacturing Technology, and get your thoughts on Quest in the building opening up.
I think we're all really, really excited about this. So we've been unable to buy new equipment, state-of-the-art equipment, because we've had no space to put it. We've used this opportunity with the additional space to buy lots of additional equipment, in addition to moving equipment from other locations around the campus.
What is some of that additional equipment, and what does that mean for the students?
So we're outfitting a brand new digital fabrication or fab lab with all brand new equipment. We've invested heavily in brand new robotics equipment that we will share between the electronics and the manufacturing program. In addition to that, we've freed up space in the athletic center for a new manufacturing lab, and we're installing right now CNC equipment, 5 new CNC machines up there.
All right, let me run down a few of those. Everybody has mentioned the Fab Lab, so obviously this is something that is key. When we talk about the Fab Lab, what happens? What's this fabrication component?
So the digital fabrication and the Fab Lab movement is something that started out of MIT, and it's a worldwide movement. There are about 500 labs worldwide, and it's really a network. And the labs share a broad range of equipment. The equipment is standardized across the world. Projects are shared across the world, so it's a huge opportunity for faculty and especially students to share in that knowledge around the world.
Well, that's great. I know that, big robotics program here. Obviously, you have a robotics team that won a world award. Who wants to maybe tackle a little bit about what robotics means there? And then I think there was one other that you mentioned that I didn't write down quite fast enough. But who wants to just maybe talk a little bit about the robotics?
Well, robotics can mean a few different things. The robotics competitions are a great way to get young people involved in the design process for an objective. It's a very creative kind of area where you're designing a mobile robot to do a variety of tasks and compete. The other side of robotics, which is what Damien mentions, is the industrial robotics that are the types of machines that are cranking out parts reliably 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at these facilities. Those are the kind of robots that our graduates may end up working with. So that's more like an industrial robot arm, and the programming of that is a specific skill. So robotics can, again, it can mean a lot of different things, and we're really in the process of representing all those sides of robotics. We have courses in electronics engineering technology where we work with microcontrollers to build autonomous systems in one of the courses with various sensors and mobile robots, things like that. We also have the industrial robots.
Right. And there was some specific equipment that you mentioned as well, I believe. The purpose of that, or the what that will mean for the students.
So I mentioned CNC equipment. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
So the CNC equipment will be installed in the athletic center, which is allowing the Quest building is allowing us to do that. It's freeing up the space. So it's part of the manufacturing program. It's all related, and it's part of the big effort that we're putting in here.
Obviously, from my question, I'm not quite sure. So what is the CNC equipment?
So CNC means computer numerical control. Mm-hmm. So it's metal cutting equipment for the large part. It requires a lot of training in the programming of the machines. So it's not a manual process; it's a computer control process, and the machines need to be programmed. And that's what we need. That's what we teach the students to do here. There's a huge demand for CNC programmers out in the field, and we're trying to meet that demand.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, and you know what? Maybe I'll save this for our next segment. But obviously, we do want to then start to hone a little bit more, and maybe even I'll begin with you, Jacob, when we come back to talk a little bit about again what students now may be able, through this Quest building, through the Fab Lab, through everything that has been talked about in these opening minutes, what that means going forward, and perhaps what it is that students who, even if they came here as recently as 5 years ago, now all of these new opportunities will be opening up for them because of this. And we'll talk about that straight ahead on QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. QCC's Face the Region continues on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. We're speaking with Damien Kieran. He's the Assistant Professor of Manufacturing Technology. Professor James Heffernan is here, Coordinator of Electronics Engineering Technology, and Assistant Professor of Electronics Engineering Technology, Jacob Longacre, here with us as well. People excited. We've talked to you about this in the past, the Quest building opening up here on the QCC campus. All of that means the Fab Lab as well. And Jacob, it does seem then that now there are all of these new opportunities that are going to be happening for yourself. How many years? You've been here about 5 years, or how many?
I've only been here about a year and a half, 2
years. Year and a half.
And for me, the big aspect that I see in this is the ability to progress from something like introducing students in a thing like the Fab Lab to computer-controlled systems and being able to create a computer model and then actually have it built, and then being able to look at that and progress to the idea of how you'd work with CNC machines and robotics with integrating sensors and different mechatronic systems, so that something like this allows someone to see in this room, here's where the Fab Lab work is. Here's where you can learn about, in the next classroom, how that stuff works and how it can be progressed from a small scale to a large scale in manufacturing. And that's where Damien comes in.
All right. Yeah. Well, do you want to just maybe pick up a little bit then on what Jacob Longacre was saying, and talk a little bit then a little bit more about the function, but a way in which now the students who are coming to QCC, it seems to me, in 2016, maybe some opportunities that didn't exist as short time ago as just a couple of years.
Yeah, I think we believe we've had very good curriculum here for the last few years. We like to think we have good faculty too, but what we've been missing is the state-of-the-art equipment and the space to put that equipment. And now Quest solves that problem. So the students coming along today are coming along at exactly the right time.
Boy, that's fantastic. Right here, and turning to James Heffernan, professor and the coordinator of the Electronics Engineering Technology, right here, certainly we do in central Massachusetts seem to be in the middle of where this kind of a career, this kind of a building Quest can prepare students to be able to stay here in our community and have many, many opportunities.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of opportunities, almost a kind of a small explosion of smaller, medium-sized companies that are looking for students with these kinds of skills. And in my area, electronics engineering technology, we have the mechatronics option. So electronics is no longer a field that's isolated, it's integrated with systems. So most of our graduates, when they go out to work, they're dealing with systems that have mechanical parts and motors. And then that way they're interfacing perhaps with some of the manufacturing graduates, working more of the mechanical or the design and the building of the parts. It's just the beginning, just the tip of the iceberg. And our Damien students recently worked on a project where they developed some tooling for the new robots using the 3D printer. Very impressive stuff. But again, that's the kind of interaction you see in the real world with students working on real jobs.
And even so, with the 2 years, you had mentioned previously, students coming here 2 years here, then going on to an engineering school. I would think this would aid in that as well.
It would, although the program I referred to, engineering, is much more on the engineering science end, and their classes don't really get into the hands-on part. Although I've had a number of those students, while they're taking engineering courses, they'll jump over and take some technology courses, and typically they tend to be students that are interested in that. The program itself is primarily for transfer, so they don't really do a lot in the labs that we're talking about, the CNC, but absolutely there could be a lot more interaction there.
How much for the students who are coming here, because the QCC, of course, has lifelong learners. Somebody who is coming in perhaps their job has changed so much. The technology at their job has changed so much. They need some new technology. This is going to benefit them. I guess, the quote-unquote more traditional student, somebody who's 18, he's graduated from high school, he's coming here for 2 years or beyond, or wants to get into one of the programs. Does everybody benefits from it? Some might benefit from it more. It is more aimed at certain programs or students.
I think everyone benefits from it because the equipment is more advanced. It's more in line with what's out there today, and when you have sort of steps to progress into, it allows people who might not necessarily have originally gone into an area to learn about it, to figure it out. So when you have something like a Fab Lab leading into different equipment, you have a much better process that doesn't immediately present a situation where you have to go from ground zero to a big CNC machine. You have the ability to figure out what's going on in stages in a much more friendly manner, gentler manner.
Well, and I have to say, you look at the campus, you look at all the work that is going on here in the campus, and I know that there are a lot of our listeners who probably go back to, they remember when there was the groundbreaking, or when QCC was taking over the existing buildings, and you look at what it is today. It is amazing the way the QCC continues to grow and continues to offer more and more. Damien, I don't know but you mean just to kind of speak to this idea that community college is so much more. You're competing with the top universities in the countries and competing very favorably with them.
Well, and I think Quest is going to allow us to compete much more aggressively, if you like, against other institutions. I think students are going to come here now, and they're going to be wowed by what they see in the Quest building and our other labs. If I can pick up on the accessibility and the benefits to other students. So one of the main purposes of a Fab Lab is to be accessible to non-technical students. So we want to bring people in there who might have an idea for a product or a project that they want to work on, but they're not really technically savvy. The Fab Lab is the perfect place for those people. We'll bring them in there, we'll teach them a few things about how to design and build stuff, and they can create their own projects. So it's intended for arts and crafts, but it's also intended for people who have product ideas to bring those product ideas to life. So it's not just the technical geeks that are going to benefit from this Quest building, it's the wider community as well.
Boy, that's terrific. Hey, much more. We're going to wrap this up, tell you a little bit more about Quest and the opening, and that is on the way on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. I'm Hank Stoltz. QCC's Face the Region continues on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Talking about, if you haven't been to the main campus at Quinsigamond Community College, it really is quite something to see, just to drive through, see all the work that has been done in this brand new Quest building. You're getting sort of a feel of what is inside and what it is going to mean to the students here at QCC now that this building is open, and some of the capabilities of the building, the functions, the uses that are going to be happening, even getting a little bit of the description of some of the equipment that is going to be inside as well. And our tour guides have been Jacob Longacre. He's the Assistant Professor of Electronics Engineering Technology, James Heffernan, Professor, Coordinator of Electronics Engineering Technology, and Damian Kieran, Assistant Professor of Manufacturing Technology. All, as you can tell, all technology, engineering. James, one thing that is that we haven't talked about, I mean, we are a little, I guess, heavy on the engineering technology side, but we're not trying to leave anybody out. We'll have them at a later date. But as you said when you told us what Quest stands for, science is a big part of this as well.
Oh, absolutely. And during the tour that I had last week of the building, we went through all the new science labs and beautiful state-of-the-art biology labs. So those are courses, a lot of people taking those courses, beautiful physics labs and a chemistry lab. That's really going to, again, these are the courses we've been teaching here in labs that are quite old. They've been, around since the beginning of the college, so this is an opportunity for students to bring that, to get into an environment that is really feels. You can feel the quality of it, and they got excellent lab setups and everything.
No, I think that's a great point. I mean, if you're in a facility that is cutting edge, then you feel as if, I should be putting on my white lab coat, should be, because you feel as if everything is going to be cutting edge.
Right, that's one of the spin-off benefits of having the new facility, is that it does raise the morale of the students and the teachers, and it raises the level of performance, I think, ultimately.
I know it's a great point, Damien. As James was just saying, I mean, so now we're going from some buildings, some labs that had been around for a long period of time. Here comes the new Quest building, state of the art. Been a while coming. I take it. Can you give us a little behind the scenes? How long does it take to put something like this together? What's the input of the faculty in what it is that is needed? And was that input taken, and does it show up in this new building?
Absolutely. So I've been here almost 3 years, and I've spent quite a chunk of that time working on Quest. But a lot of the work was already done at that stage. So this has been probably 10 years in the making. One of the fantastic aspects of this building is that it's purpose-built, purpose-designed. So we're not trying to cram into space that we inherited and trying to make something fit. We designed this. So people who know what the lab should look like design the labs. And students are going to see that.
Yeah, so I mean, does that go to flow? You kind of talked about how all of these different disciplines will able to be able to be there. When you were designing this, even if you weren't there at the beginning, what are some of the things that even a layperson might be able to notice, but that somebody who really understands how one of these should set up says, oh boy, they got it right, look at how all of this fits together?
Yeah, an example might be the space we share now for the manufacturing and electronics lab up in the athletic center. It's hidden, nobody knows it's there. If you look at the Quest Center, it's all glass buildings. People walking past will be able to look in and see what's going on. And an aspect of that we hope will attract students in there. People who don't know anything about electronics or manufacturing will look in and come in and see what's going on and maybe get interested.
No, it's neat. As I said when I said just about if people have the opportunity even just to drive through, just myself, just driving through and having seen it be built over these past months, I mean, it's amazing because what it shows, I think, is that there's things happening. There's things happening in QCC. It shows that there's things happening in Worcester. It shows that there's this investment that's going on even right here in the city. Jacob, you want to jump in a little bit on that as well?
I just felt that the whole building seems to have that structure that it enables interaction and collaboration much more than when we're, some are here and some are there in different buildings spread all over the campus. And one of the situations that's been occurring as we progress is that more and more we've had different majors and different issues that combine technologies. I mean, a simple example is areas like biotechnology and pharmacology, and these areas where the need for chemistry, biology, as well as some of the technologies to be able to construct these things are becoming more and more prevalent. So the need to be able to move from one technology to another and be familiar with it, comfortable with it, has become much greater. And a building like this that enables that kind of interaction, and not only enables it, but promotes it, is a terrific benefit.
Well, I mean, we hear even so much in the high school, so much about STEM, about the science, the technology, the engineering, the math. I mean, are you seeing more students who are coming to QCC looking for those disciplines?
Actually, yes. The last few years, we've definitely seen a bump in enrollment in the technology programs, and also younger students coming in. And it's a good thing because we have a lot of opportunities. I've been, over the last few years, collecting job postings to keep track of what companies are out there. And not all of them are hiring all the time, but at any given moment, we maybe have 3 dozen or more in other companies that I don't even know about yet. And we discover new ones every month or so. There's another company with opportunities. So the opportunities are really plentiful in this field, even for 2-year graduates. And typically students will maybe get a job and go on to their 4-year degree after that.
How many, especially maybe for that 2-year degree, are there certificate programs as well, or? Yeah.
Yes, there are certificate programs. So in some cases, that would get a student an entry-level foot in the door. The 2-year degree is more like a career type degree, and also designed to feed to a 4-year college.
For technology, as technology students, do you have more of an idea? I mean, is it a little more concrete? I think of engineers, I think of them as being, very, concrete thinkers. Do they have more of an idea of this is what I want to do, this is the job I'm looking for? Whereas, I kind of think of liberal arts as I'll kind of find myself a little bit. I'm not even, maybe I'm not sure even upon graduation what exactly I want to do. Are they coming for some very specific reasons?
Yeah, I would absolutely. One of the advantages we have is the students are very hands-on, very concrete oriented. We can show them what we're working on. They can see how it works and get into the technology behind it, understanding the principles. So it's an incentive to learning for them, and it reinforces what they learn, as opposed to just having it theoretical on a chalkboard.
We have just a moment left. Is there anything that anybody else wants to jump in, or should we just give people the website and where it is that they want to come for more information? And we want the last word.
I would say,
maybe you'll take it.
I would say go to the QCC website. There's more information on there, but I would really encourage people to take a drive up to QCC and take a walk around the campus. Mm-hmm. And it's not how it looked 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's an exciting place to be. Absolutely.
Boy, that's the word, excitement. Damian Kieran, thank you so much for being here. Assistant Professor of Manufacturing Technology. Also joining us, Professor James Heffernan, Coordinator of Electronics Engineering Technology, and Jacob Longacre, the Assistant Professor of Electronics Engineering Technology, with us today as well, and we thank him for being here. Thanks to all of you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as always, thank you for joining us here on QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN.
This has been Quinsigamond Community College's Face the Region with your host, Hank Stoltz. Join us again next weekend on AM 830 WCRN.